trachoma and other follicular conjunctivitis and all types of viral conjunctivitis. And today we will discuss about the ophthalmia neonatorum and allergic type of conjunctivitis and degenerative conditions of the eye. So, ophthalmia neonatorum is the bacterial inflammation. It may be bacterial, yeah, it may be chemical, or it may be viral. So, ophthalmia neonatorum, it mostly affects the children below 30 days, and it is a bilateral inflammation of the conjunctiva, both eye, and if any discharge or watering we noticed in a child before 30 days old, then it could be suspect a ophthalmia neonatorum, because tear is not formed in this age group. So, any kind of discharge or watering is suspected to the ophthalmia neonatorum. Source and mode of infection. Before birth, infected Licher amnii is ruptured membrane, and during birth, infected birth canal and childbirth in a with face presentation or forceps delivery. Then after birth it may be during first bath of the newborn with contaminated fingers and cloths and infected lochia. So, these are the mode of infection. Then causative organisms. Causative organisms are silver nitrate if it is caused by the chemical conjunctivitis, and gonococcal, its name suggests gonococcal infection, and this is gonococcal infection is the most common. Then other bacterial infection, it may be Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus aureus, Streptococcus hemolyticus and Streptococcus pneumoniae. And a neonatal inclusion conjunctivitis, it is a chlamydial infection and a serotype from D to K, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. These are the serotype. It affects the newborn. And herpes simplex ophthalmia neonatorum caused by the herpes virus. So, these are the causative organism. Then incubation period, according to the infection, incubation period are different. In case of the chemical injury, incubation period is 4 to 6 hours, and gonococcal infection, incubation period is 2 to 4 days, and other bacterial infection, it may be 4 to 5 days, and neonatal inclusion conjunctivitis, incubation period is 5 to 14 days, and herpes simplex ophthalmia neonatorum caused by the herpes virus, in this case incubation period is 5 to 7 days. Symptoms are as usual other conjunctivitis, pain and tender eyeball. What is tenderness? When touch it is painful, and purulent conjunctival discharge, it is the main features of the gonococcal infection, and mucoid or mucopurulent discharge is present in case of other bacterial infections, and lid or swollen, tense, and conjunctiva is chemosed, and if in this case corneal involvement is very rare. But when if corneal involvement is occur, then it causes corneal ulcer, and this this gonococcal infection is very virulent, it affects the intact cornea. So, it in this case tendency to perforate the corneal ulcer is more common. Prophylaxis is done in the 3 levels. First is at the level of antenatal. In antenatal treatment of the mother's genital infections, and in case of at the level of natal, delivery under aseptic precaution, and newborn eyelid should be well cleaned. And postnatal after birth 1% tetracycline or 0.5% erythromycin ointments are given, and 1% silver nitrate solutions are also given. Initially this was more frequently given, and single injection of the ceftriaxone 50 milligram per kg body weight. Then treatment is curative. In case of the chemical conjunctivitis, it is self-limiting, there is no need of treatment. And gonococcal infection, in this case topical and systemic treatments are given. In topical treatment, saline wash and bezitracin ointment are given 4 times a day, and penicillin drops 5,000 to 1 lakh units, 5,000 to 1 lakh 10,000 units per ml every 5 minutes for 30 minutes. Then every 5 minutes for 30 minutes, and every minute for 30 minutes. Then after that, every 30 minutes till infection is controlled. And atropine is given only if cornea is involved. If there is no corneal involvement, then no atropinization. And systemic treatment, ceftriaxone is 75 to 100 milligram per kg body weight, IM, IV given in QID, and cefotaxime is 100 to 150 milligram per kg per day. It is also given in IM and IV form 2 times a day. And if gonococcal infection, then benzyl penicillin is given. It is 50,000 units for full term babies and 20,000 units for premature baby, and it is given in IM form, BD for 3 days. And other curative treatments, if bacterial infection is there, so as we given in the mucopurulent treatment, so broad spectrum antibiotic eye drops and ointment are given for 2 weeks. And in case of the neonatal conjunctivitis, it is caused by the Chlamydia trachomatis. So in this case, topical tetracycline or erythromycin ointments are given 4 times a day for 3 weeks, and plus systemic erythromycin are given 125 milligram QID for 3 weeks. And if a herpes simplex infection, it is self-limiting, and it controlled automatically, there is no need of treatment. Then we come to the allergic conjunctivitis. So allergic conjunctivitis is the inflammation of the conjunctiva due to allergic or hypersensitivity reactions. It may be immediate or delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. So allergic type of conjunctivitis is divided into 6 groups. First is the simple allergic conjunctivitis. It may be hay fever conjunctivitis, seasonal allergic conjunctivitis, and perennial allergic conjunctivitis. And vernal keratoconjunctivitis, this is the most common allergic type of conjunctivitis. And second one is the atopic keratoconjunctivitis, giant papillary conjunctivitis, flictinular conjunctivitis, and contact dermatoconjunctivitis. So simple allergic conjunctivitis, it is in a simplest form and mild non-specific type of allergic conjunctivitis. In this case, itching, hyperemia, and mild papillary response. Papillary response is very less. And then seasonal allergic conjunctivitis. It is response to allergens such as gross and pollens, and it may be associated with the hay fever, so it is also called hay fever conjunctivitis. Then perennial conjunctivitis is caused by the perennial allergens such as the house dust mite and animals fur, they are taking pets, dog or cat are more prone to this type of conjunctivitis. Then pathology. In allergic conjunctivitis, there are 3 types of changes occur in vascular response. There is sudden and extreme vasodilatations of the blood vessels and increased permeability of the vessels causing the exudation. Then cellular response. In cellular response, infiltration and exudation in the discharge, and this discharge contains the eosinophils, plasma cells and mast cells, and sometimes a histamine and histamine like substances are also present. And in conjunctival response, there is bogy swelling of the conjunctiva, that is called chemosed. Conjunctiva is swollen, and it is due to the connective tissue formation and mild papillary hyperplasia. It is mostly affects in the which layer of the conjunctiva? Adenoid layer. So this is the bogy swelling. See it? So symptoms are intense itching and burning sensation in the eye, and the discharge is watery. But in case of the bacterial infection, there is the mucopurulent discharge. Here is watering, and if you exposed to the sunlight, you feel the photophobia. So signs are most common: hyperemia and chemosis, and due to hyperemia and chemosis, conjunctiva look like a swollen, juicy appearance. And second sign is the conjunctiva may also be show mild papillary reaction and the edema of the lids. Edema of the lid means swollen lid. Then diagnosis. Diagnosis is made its clinical appearance and typical signs and symptoms, and as name suggests, it is a allergic conjunctivitis. So conjunctival flora is normal. There is no causative organism is found, but due to allergens, there are abundant of the eosinophils are present in the discharge. Then treatment. So what is the treatment? To eliminate the cause. What are the allergens? Patient is away from that allergens. And vasoconstrictor. Vasoconstrictors are given adrenaline, ephedrine and nefazolin, and sodium proboglycate are given to prevent the recurrence, and steroid eye drops are given in very short duration. And if vasoconstrictor sodium proboglycate patient having no response, then steroid drops are given, and systemic antihistaminics are also given in acute cases because there is the marked itching and desensitization is done. Then we come to the vernal keratoconjunctivitis. Vernal keratoconjunctivitis, VKC, it is also called spring catarrh, but its name suggests spring catarrh, but it is most common in the summer season and tropical zone. So it is a recurrent bilateral interstitial, and it is also a self-limiting diseases and a periodic disease occur in every summer season. And etiology, the hypersensitivity reaction to some of the exogenous allergens. Exogenous allergens means grass, pollens and immunoglobulin E mediated atrophic mechanism and a raised immunoglobulin E plus eosinophilia. And patient may having the family history and other type of atopic conjunctivitis like hay fever, asthma and eczema are more prone to this type of conjunctivitis. Then predisposing factors, it mostly affect the 4 to 20 years of age group and mostly affect the males, and it is more in summer season, so it is also called the warm season conjunctivitis, warm weather conjunctivitis, and it is more prevalent in the tropical zones and non-existence in the cold climate or non-tropical zones. So pathology, in this case of allergic conjunctivitis, conjunctival epithelial hyperplasia, and marked infiltration of the adenine cell layer, proliferation of the fibrous layer, and the conjunctival vascular proliferation, vasodilatation, and permeability. This causes watery discharge, watery and ropey discharge, and the formation of multiple papillae in the upper dorsal conjunctiva. Mostly upper dorsal conjunctiva is affected as compared to the lower palpebral conjunctiva. Then symptoms, signs and symptoms are marked burning and itching, more in the warm climate, mild photophobia, lacrimation, and a typical type of discharge is present. This is called ropey or stingy discharge. This is the pathognomonic sign of the spring cutter, and a heaviness of the eyelid. Then signs in the palpebral form. This is the dorsal conjunctiva. Here upper dorsal conjunctiva is affected. Presence of hard flat topped papillae arranged in the cobblestone appearance or pavement stone, and giant papillae is formed, and there is the ropey conjunctival discharge. This is the important palpebral sign of the spring cutter. Then we come to the bulbar part. When we examine the bulbar conjunctiva, dusky and triangular congestion in the bulbar area. This one is the both side of the limbus, and gelatinous thickening accumulations of the tissue around the limbus. This is the limbus, and there is the on 360-degree circumference there is gelatinous thickening present, and there is the whitish raised dots along the limbus. Here whitish raised dots are present, that is called Trentos spots. This is also peculiar in the spring cutter. Sometimes patient having the both features, features of the palpebral conjunctiva as well as bulbar conjunctiva, and so mixed features are present, bulbar conjunctiva as well as palpebral conjunctiva. So in case of the also involve the cornea, so it is called corneal involvement. So vernal keratoconjunctivitis, it not only affects the conjunctiva, it also affects the there are three types of changes we found in the cornea. First is the punctate epithelial keratitis. This is the mild form, involve only the upper cornea and mostly the palpebral form, and lesion is always stained by the rose bengal. Then ulcerative vernal keratitis, it is also called sealed ulceration. Sealed ulceration, it is a shallow transverse ulcer in the upper part of the cornea due to the epithelial necrosis, and vernal corneal plaques due to the depositions of the epithelial micro erosions and which coating the, so this is present in the plaque form depositions. Necrosed tissue are deposited over the necrosed area. Then subepithelial scarring. Scarring is present in the ring form. Then clinical course. This disease is also a self-limiting disease and usually goes off and spontaneously from 5 to 10 years, and it is differentiated from the papillary hypertrophy present in the trachoma. So in case of the trachoma, predominantly papillary hypertrophy is present and follicles are also present, but in case of the vernal keratoconjunctivitis, only papillae are formed and there is no follicles. And the treatment is local therapy, topical steroid drops are given, fluoromethalon, dexamethasone and loteprednol are given for short duration, and if infection is severe, then frequent instillations of the steroid drops 4 hourly for 2 days, and maintenance therapy is given 3 to 4 times a day for 2 weeks. we also give the mast cell stabilizers, that is promoglycate, agelastin and ketotifen, and topical antihistaminic eye drops are also given. Acetylcysteine is given in macrolytic therapy, and cyclosporin is given in 1% eye drop form. Then systemic therapy. So systemic therapy, we oral histaminics are also given, and oral steroids are given for only short duration in severe cases, and tapering dose. It starts with higher dose and gradually dose is tapered. Then treatment of the large papillae. If there is large papillae is present, then subtarsal injection of the long acting steroids are given. Cryo application is also given, and if patient is not responsive in this condition and size of the papillae is very large, then it is surgically excised. Then general measures are same as the mucopurulent conjunctivitis. Goggles are given, cold compression, ice packs are given, change the environment, people living in this condition. So not much awarding results. Desensitization. The treatment of the vernal keratoconjunctivitis. If punctate epithelial keratitis, then steroid instillation should be increased, and if large vernal plaque, it is surgically removed, and a surgical lamellar keratoplasty is done. And in case of the severe sealed ulcer is present, then it is debridement and a superficial keratectomy is given, and after keratectomy, amniotic membrane transplantation is given. Then we come to the atopic keratoconjunctivitis. It is same as allergic conjunctivitis, but it is spring catarrh mostly affect the age group 0 to 20 years, and it affects only adults, and it is associated with the atopic dermatitis, and it affects only male. Symptoms are itching, soreness, dryness, mucoid discharge, photophobia and blurring of the vision. Then signs are lid margins are inflamed and rounded in the posterior border. This is the peculiar sign. And the dorsal conjunctiva, milky appearance, very fine papillae, hyperemia, scarring, and shrinkage is present. Then cornea is involved, punctate epithelium keratitis, and it mostly affect in the lower half, not in the upper part, and the corneal vascularization, and the plaque is thinner as compared to the spring catarrh due to intense itching. And so treat if lid pathology is present, so treat the lid pathology, and mast cell stabilizer, steroids and tear supplements are given to avoid the foreign body sensations. Then giant papillae conjunctivitis, it is same, but here the size of the papillae are more, bigger size, and it not responds to the treatment. It is caused by the contact lens wearing of your prosthesis. Patient is wearing prosthesis for a long time, or left out nylon sutures after cataract surgery or any other kind of ocular surgery, that causes rubbing, and this type of papillae are formed. So its treatment is the surgical excision of the papillae. Then flictinular keratoconjunctivitis. Flictinular conjunctivitis, as name suggests, patient is having the flectins, and the flectins are occurring due to the allergic response of the conjunctival or corneal epithelium due to allergens, some endogenous allergens that causes allergic response, and the conjunctiva and the corneal epithelium, and the flectins are formed. Flectins are raised yellowish spots present over the around the limbus. It is circular in shape, and it is a kind of delayed type of hypersensitivity reactions. So causative allergens are Tuberculosis or Staphylococcus are proteins of the Moraxilla oxide-filled bacilli. This bacilli also causes angular conjunctivitis, that is due to allergic liberation of allergic proteins. Then predisposing factors. Predisposing factors are, it mostly affect the age group 3 to 15 years of age group. Female are more prone, and undernourished patients, and living in the overcrowded and unhygienic conditions, and season all climates, spring as well as summer season. Then pathology. Here pathology is the first stage is the formation of nodule. Nodule is formed, and this nodule is formed due to the exudation and the liberations of the leukocytes, and the neighboring blood vessels dilate and their epithelials proliferate, and here formation of nodule is occur. In the second stage, there is that nodule is ulcerate and the ulcer is formed, and there is the necrosis of the apex of the nodule. And then stage of granulation. In this stage, this ulcer is healing and the granulation tissue is filled the ulcer, and it is covered by the granulation tissue, and stage of healing. In this stage, there is healing is occur and minimal scarring is present. Then symptoms are very few: mild discomfort, discharge, irritation, and reflex tearing. So it occurs, a flectinular conjunctivitis occur in the three forms. First is the simple flectinular conjunctivitis. It is the most common, and here pinkish white nodule surrounded by the hyperemia near the limbus. It is present near the limbus. Sometimes we also confuse the granulomatous infections, a granulomatous lesion present near the limbus, and this flect is ulcerate and epithelialized, and this is necrotizing flectinular conjunctivitis. Here this flectin formed is very large flectin, and necrosis is occur, and after necrosis there is ulceration occur and severe pustular form of the conjunctivitis. Third one is the miliary flectinular conjunctivitis. There is the multiple flectins are present, they are scattered around the limbus, and they are arranged, haphazardly arranged, or arranged in a like a ring, surrounded the ring ulcer, and around the limbus it is present as a ring form. Then flectinular keratitis. Primarily flectinular keratitis is very rare. It is generally occurs secondary, and it extends from the conjunctival flectin. Flectinular keratitis and flectinular conjunctivitis both are different. Flectinular keratitis, it affects the cornea, and conjunctivitis that affects the conjunctiva. So that is present in the three form flectinular conjunctivitis, and flectinular keratitis is present in the two forms. First is the ulcerative and second is the diffuse form, and this ulcerative form is again divided into three parts: sacrophilous, fascicular, and miliary. Sacrophilous, fascicular, and miliary. Sacrophilous ulcer, it is a shallow ulcer, shallow marginal ulcer, and due to breakdown of the small limbal flectin, and it differs from the catarrhal ulcer. There is the no clear space between the ulcer and the limbus, and its long axis is frequently perpendicular to the limbus. And other marginal ulcer, there is the clear cut demarcations, and such a ulcer is usually clears up without leaving any opacity. If marginal ulcer is present, there is the after treatment opacity is present, and if flectinular keratitis is present, there after healing there is no scarring or opacities. Then Fascicular is the very deep ulcer. It affects up to the level of stroma and covered with the granulation tissue, and sometimes pustules are also present there. And third one is the miliary ulcer. Here, just like the miliary conjunctivitis, miliary ulcer, it is scattered over the portion of the cornea or whole of the cornea. It is formed in the scattered form. Then diffuse infiltrative flictinular keratitis. Diffuse infiltrative flictinular keratitis, it appears in the only central infiltrations of the cornea. Periphery is clear and with characteristics of the rich vascularization on the periphery of the cornea. All around the limbus there is vascularization is increased, and it may also be superficial and deep. Then treatment. Treatment is divided into three groups: local treatment, systemic treatment and general measures. So local therapy, steroid eye drops and ointment are given, topical antibiotic eye drops and ointment are given, and atropine ointment is given only involvement of the cornea. Then systemic therapy. Systemic therapy, if patient is suffering from TB, so treat the cause, that is the tuberculosis, and if having the septic foci like dental caries, folliculitis, tonsillitis, adenitis, so this should be treated. And if patient is having the parasitic infestation that causes this kind of allergic conjunctivitis, so that parasitic infestation should be treated. And general measures are as usual other conjunctivitis, improve the hygiene and supplement the patient's high protein diet. Then contact dermatoconjunctivitis, it is caused by the when you come to the contact with any allergens, and it is a delayed type of hypersensitivity reactions. Some patients are allergic to atropine, some are penicillin, some are neomycin, some are soframycin, eye drops, sulfur drugs and gentamicin. So these kind of patients suffer from the contact dermatoconjunctivitis. So clinical features are only cutaneous involvement. The cutaneous involvement in a eczematous reaction and a conjunctival response, in there is hyperemia, papillary response, more common in the lower fornix. Lower fornix and lower palpebral conjunctiva is affect, and in trachoma, upper palpebral conjunctiva and fornix are affected, and spring catarrh, it is also most common in the upper dorsal conjunctiva. Then diagnosis is made by clinical examination and skin test for the causative allergens and treat the cause. And if patient is sensitive to any drugs or kind of allergen, so discontinuations of that medications, topical steroid and eye drops are given to relieve the symptoms, and application of steroid ointments on the involved part of the skin if patient is suffering from eczema. Then Perinoids ocular syndrome, this is nothing important, it is caused by the tularemia and catch-scratch disease, tuberculosis, syphilis and lymphogranuloma venereum. Then ophthalmia nodosa, it is caused by the caterpillar hair, it is also called the caterpillar hair conjunctivitis. You saw the caterpillar, it is a type of insect having more hairs on their body, and that hair, if you come in contact of that hair, causes ophthalmia nodosa. And its treatment is the excision biopsy of the nodule. Then we come to the degenerative conditions of the conjunctiva. So degenerative condition of the conjunctiva, first we talk about the pingicula. This is the pingicula, you see, It is yellowish white and a triangular patch, and it's this one is the apex, and here is the base. Apex is facing towards the cornea. This is cornea and this is pingicula and this is the limbus, this is the body and this is the apex. Apex is mostly towards the limbus and it mostly affects the nasal part and sometimes also present in the temporal side. Then etiology of the pingicula. It is the aging phenomena. It is occur in the elderly patients and who are exposed to the strong sunlight and this pingicula is also known as the precursor of pterygium. Then it is caused by the elastotic degeneration of the collagen fibers of the substantia propria of the conjunctiva and depositions of the amorphous hyaline material that gives it yellow color. Then complications. Complications are if there is secondary infections occur and it grows if to pterygium and sometimes it necrosed and intraepithelial abscess is formed after secondary infection. Then treatment. There is no routine treatment. If a patient is having the cosmetic blemish or having irritation, then it should be surgically excised. You see the picture here. This is the pterygium and this is the pingicula. It is yellowish in color and it is reddish in color due to conjunctival vessels and it encroaches up to the pupillary area. Sometimes it whole of the cornea. But in case of the pingicula, there is the demarcations line between the pingicula and cornea and its apex is facing towards the limbus. Then pterygium. Pterygium is the also a allergic condition. It is more common in the tropical zone and it is a triangular fold of the conjunctiva and encroaching cornea from either side, nasal as well as temporal. It is mostly present in the interpalpebral area. Interpalpebral area means interpalpebral fissure where the site both the lid margins are, when you close the eye, both the lid margins are meet, that is the interpalpebral fissure and it is mostly in the nasal side. It may also be unilateral or bilateral. Conjunctiva may be classified according to the growth. If it is progressive and a regressive form. Progressive form, it is thick, fleshy, vascular and cape of pterygium is present just in front of the its apex and regressive form, it is a thin atrophic and pterygium has 4 parts. First is the apex, then neck, here. This is the apex and present over the cornea and this the part present between at the limbus, this is called neck. Neck connect the body of the pterygium and apex of the conjunctiva and body of the pterygium is present over the sclera, scleral part and sometimes this pterygium encroaches the whole of the cornea through and through from nasal to temporal. So that is called double pterygium. Temporal side pterygium and nasal side of pterygium, they encroaches towards the pupillary area and the joint. So this is the pterygium. And etiology of the pterygium. Exposure to the ultraviolet rays, sunlight, heat, dust and wind. These are the predisposing cause and pathology is the degeneration of the subconjunctival tissue and proliferations of the vascular granulation tissue. And symptoms. Initially patient is asymptomatic, then it is only for cosmetic blemish, and if it covers the cornea up to the pupillary area, it causes visual disturbance, and sometimes it causes diplopia due to the restriction of the ocular movements. And according to the size of the pterygium, it is also divided into 3 groups: type 1, type 2 and type 3. If pterygium is covered less than 2 millimeter of the cornea, then it is mild type 1, and if it covers the more than up to the 4 millimeter of the cornea, then it is called type 2, and if it covers the pupillary area or more than 4 millimeter of the cornea, then it is called type 3 of type of pterygium. Then complications. There is the cystic degeneration occur, infection occur, and sometimes this pterygium is also known as precursors of the tumors, that is epithelioma, fibrosarcoma, malignant melanoma, and due to strong adhesion to the cornea, it causes corneal astigmatism. Then differential diagnosis. Pterygium is differentiated from pseudopterygium. Pseudopterygium is the scarring of the conjunctiva due to burn or injury, where bulbar conjunctiva is adhered to the cornea, and it should be differentiated with probe test. When we pass the probe under the pterygium, it is not possible, but in case of the pseudopterygium, we can easily pass the probe underneath the pseudopterygium. And we also differentiate the pseudopterygium from pterygium. Pterygium is a degenerative condition and pseudopterygium is the inflammatory conditions. And pterygium, it usually affects the elderly person, and this pseudopterygium can affect any age group of the people, and it is situated in the interpalpebral aperture, but pseudopterygium is present anywhere of the bulbar conjunctiva. And stages, pterygium is the, it may be progressive stage or regressive stage, and pseudopterygium, it is the stationary. And here probe test is negative in case of the pterygium, and in case of the pseudopterygium it is positive. Then treatment. There is no any medical treatment, but if patient is having a foreign body sensation or itching, then supportive treatments are given, anti-allergic and lubricating eye drops. And if it is growing and causes diplopia and affecting the vision, then we should, or due to cosmetic blemish or some patients having diplopia, then it should and it encroaches the pupillary area and causes blurring of vision. In this case, it is surgically excised. And for surgical excision, there are two types of surgical excision. It is excised surgically. Pterygium is excised and leaves the bare area, and the second one is the excise the pterygium and autografting of the conjunctiva is done. And third cases, because it is after surgery, it again recurrence is very common in case of the pterygium. So after excision of the pterygium, we also apply the mitomycin C antimetabolites to prevent the recurrence. So these are the steps, and it should be taught in your SGD classes. Details. Autograft is given, and sometimes amniotic grafting is also done to avoid the recurrence of the pterygium. And oldest technique is this pterygium is the excised, and it is implanted in the transplant in the lower fornix. This is called M. Reynolds operation. And to avoid the recurrence, beta radiation is also given. So that's all about conjunctiva. Here conjunctiva topic is over.